In September 2022, Ibrahim Traoré became the youngest head of the state, as well as the supreme chief of the military, in a coup in Burkina Faso. He stopped letting Burkina Faso get stomped over by the West. The entire West comes into dissent every time an African leader does so, claiming to save the democracy. But actually it's a selfish troop, saving nothing but their personal welfare. Thus, every time a genuine leader comes out, he's replaced by a coup. Traoré as well, after ostracizing the whole West, including France, was to meet with the same fate. To know more about what it resulted in, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. But the bigger question was, how would a coup be arranged? Who would be engaged? Would this plot gain success? You might know the fact that the coup against Ibrahim Traoré didn't result in success. But do you know who was the mastermind behind it? All the secrets about it are awaiting to be unfolded. Keep watching. The earlier colonial potencies of Europe have a profound behind about intervening into the private affairs of other countries. Pretty frankly, the trick was to put up biased presidents who would function not in the country's favor, but their own. The president would be given all the lavish facilities and luxury as long as he would serve the Europeans, but replaced as quickly as possible if he doesn't. The factor is, the president is just a pawn in the play for them, and if he deceives, he's of no use to them. He's sued, which explains why coups are all over the African countries, mostly stimulated by the European powers. Since they were the ones in charge of guiding the military, they have had loyal generals and even soldiers. They wouldn't provoke a coup as long as things are working in their benefit. But the coup of 2022 was not the same. In 2022 September, Ibrahim Traoré became the head and supreme military leader as he arranged a coup by himself. Ibrahim took the power in his hands, snatching it from France, and also commenced policies in favor of the countrymen, which did not resonate very well with the wishes of France. There were evident chances of the arrival of a coup, replacing Ibrahim Traoré by a president or any military commander faithful to France. Well, Ibrahim Traoré was the military commander, meaning it would not be so seamless and unproblematic. It would require an abundant amount of military force and expenses of generals in the African country's army. A coup was set in motion in September of 2023, which resulted in failure, which now brings to the significant question about who was behind the stealthy mission, if it was France or other officers plotting to displace Ibrahim Traoré. Friday, September 8th, 3 soldiers in Burkina Faso were arrested and charged with planning against the junta, the country's military prosecutor. The secret mission was unleashed by the investigators in the previous month. Reports suggested that soldiers, including the former ones, were commencing a surveillance program on council houses, followed by other locations which the profound figures of the junta used, even Ibrahim Traoré. The motive was to destabilize the transition, which is a term used in the interim military rule, which holds the elections. With the evolution of the investigation, the 3 soldiers were arrested and ordered to be detained by a testing magistrate. They are made to deal with a large amount of charges, the indulgence in the military plan included. In addition to this, the other charges were for interference in the military orders, indulgences in criminal associations, and even threatening the state level of securities. The 3 soldiers were identified to be the warrant officer Wind, Sergeant Bryce Ismail Ramday, and Corporal Samadar. In 2015, these same soldiers were convicted for being indulged in a plan opposed to the state. They were probably hoping to engrave their names in history. Moreover, Ibrahim rose to his position by dethroning Colonel Paul Henry Sandogo Damba, who toppled Rockmart Christian Cabaret, the elected president, in just 8 months. Ibrahim's services include being the captain of Cobra Special Forces Unit, where he actively took part in the Mali War, the Islamic insurgency, and the Burkina Faso coup d'etat in 2022 January and September. The previous military commander's goals were different from the original motive, hence he was outed, dissatisfying the young officers mostly, as they were indulged in the frontline battles. Ibrahim Traoré also claimed himself to be the interim president, holding the privilege of being the head of state and supreme head of the armed forces in October 2022. Traoré holds the honor of being the world's youngest president at only the age of 34 years, beginning October 6, 2022. Ibrahim has also spoken on international stages. The speech delivered by Traoré at the Russia-Africa Summit in 2023 July was extremely applauded and popularized. He criticized the heads of states of Africa, serving for the colonizers, and accused them of not caring about the countrymen, but rather their own profit, and neglecting human rights. He motivated the leaders to stop being the pawns of the foreigners. The summit was eyed by 49 African countries, 17 heads of states included. Ibrahim revealed to the West his shockwaves when he talked about the memorable sacrifices in defeating Nazism during the Second World War. He also expressed his concerns about the African states needing help from other countries and the need of the youth to go to Europe, crossing the oceans. Traoré suggests offering fates for the youth within the continent and stating there is no need to travel to foreign countries. Traoré also suggested self-sufficiency of food and resources in Africa. France was frustrated with the news of building better relations with Russia, as stated by Ibrahim, as the entire West did not want any country to have good relations with Russia. It represents the weakness of France when an old French colony builds an alliance with Russia. Burkina Faso has been extremely unstable since gaining independence from France in 1960, known to be the Republic of Volta in the past. On 7th of September 2023, Ibrahim Traoré met with the countrymen regarding the failed coup attempt. He confirmed to the people and the media that the military has indeed remained undefeated. This reveal left the people speculating, and rumors spreading on social media about a coup attempt opposed to the transitional government. Demonstrators claiming to be Ibrahim's supporters gathered in Ouagadougou, the capital, on Sunday night and Monday in response to the coup. Ibrahim Traoré attended civil organizations and religious organizations as well during the protest. He admitted that he knew who the coup planners were. He urged the citizens to support them as he acknowledged the opposition powers constantly working to suppress the government, stating that it would be a challenging road ahead. So now everybody knows the plotters behind the coup, the country taking favors from Burkina Faso, but not in support of Ibrahim Traoré. France is now buying loyal soldiers to hide its direct involvement in the matters of the coup. But Ibrahim is absolutely sure that it's France behind all of this, even forcing soldiers to revolt in opposition. On Wednesday evening, Ibrahim clarified his speculations towards France in a radio-television broadcast. Ibrahim acknowledges that France is terrified, so he started to build some trust. He said that Burkina Faso does not consider France as their enemy, but their policies working in African countries is the problem for them. He called out France for a comprehensive approach, though he didn't frankly take the name of the country. Instead, he criticized the idea of recruitments of new leaders in independent states, which was disturbing their progress. Not just France, but Traoré also criticized the other imperialist powers working within. Seems that Ibrahim Traoré wants Burkina Faso to have good relationships with all the other countries, rather than depending on France. Burkina Faso's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Oliver Rawamba, also hence expressed her desire for the country to develop relations with Iran in bilateral cooperation in an interview with Tehran. Niger, too, which recently met with a coup on July 26th, gained a reassurance of support from Burkina Faso. The government spokesman Ouedraogo stated, "We are terminating the agreement which allows the French forces to be in Burkina Faso." He also suggested that this would not be the end for the relationship with the country, but rather a normal procedure. Moreover, Macron criticized Russia for influencing African countries, as the West is frightened by Ibrahim Traoré, wishing to develop relations with Russia, as France's influence is reduced. France wants Burkina Faso to stay backwards, which Ibrahim Traoré is a threat against for France, making Burkina Faso progress on a daily basis. France wants its power on the country back, which is nearly impossible in Ibrahim's services. Burkina Faso is home to important resources such as cotton and sorghum, which support the economy. The government also makes provisions for funds for the industrial growth in Burkina Faso. In 2007, the World Bank estimated that 20% of Burkina Faso's total land area is fit for agriculture, yet the country hasn't achieved sufficient agricultural success. Some important crops of Burkina Faso include sorghum, cotton, maize, and millet. Burkinabe farmers have also achieved success to some extent in sugarcane cultivation lately. Burkina Faso also has rich minerals like gold, zinc, copper, manganese, phosphate and limestone, and diamonds, bauxites and nickel as well. Burkina Faso ranks as the fourth largest producer of gold in Africa. This abundance of metal resources is also why the West is very desperately involved in African countries, such as uranium for nuclear weapons and platinum as well. Burkina Faso will no longer be serving for the West, but using the resources for its own needs and benefits. Under the leadership of Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso is certainly working towards prosperity and challenging France for remarkable losses as well. Do you think this might urge the West to plan for another coup against Ibrahim Traoré? Do let us know your opinion in the comment section. Moreover, don't forget to like and subscribe for more such knowledge-elevating content.